I was considering the
I have spot listened to you here. These all the new songs. I spot listened to you here. Oh, the microphone's off so much. Yes. Yeah, it was good. I think you're meant to listen to the recording now. It's not just
okay. I got a comment after the last one.
today. By today.
So today?
Today's the deadline.
Okay.
So everyone else can do it.
We want to double check one of these late night teachers are out there, people, the legals, which is good.
Some of us turn our phones up.
Chickens on top of it, making sure the altars is good, just
You never know what's going to happen on your phone.
be okay.
True. That's true.
I expect an email or message. I will answer. Well, yeah, if I can. Right. And then it's like, no, something's going to they'll call. I'll call. Okay, so I'm going to call like Kate here. No water. Oh, it's everyone. My favorite. You say I was so upset. It was so mortified. But I also remember. Now it's so great because that one day I did that's just one. Yeah, just doing them.
You just saw something this year.
Yep, just.
I'll be running behind this morning. Don't play service. I'm not a fan. I'll join you. Yes.
Who all knows that?
Anybody who's in the
So it's
I can
Hey, hi,
Eka.
where are we going? Don't. Oh, yeah.
nature to grow old.
There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly.
Mahayana refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way.
Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers.
For the lineage of the teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections for their guidance.
7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind.
I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings.
Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred.
Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this.
Please stand for the Heart Sutra. Pray Prajnaparvita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing deep Prajnaparamita clearly saw that all five skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra form is no other than emptiness, emptiness, no other than form. Form is exactly emptiness, emptiness, exactly form. Sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not form, not destroy, not stain, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, no tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, no on to, no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering.
Bodhisattva, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond delusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by Prajnaparamita, attaining Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the Prajnaparamita mantra, set forth this mantra and proclaim. Gate, gate, para, gate, parsam, gate, bodhisattva, gate, gate, para, gate, parsam, gate, bodhisattva, gate, para, gate, parsam, gate, bodhisattva. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the six worlds, and dedicated in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to Undo, Quinn, Chris, Laverne, Madonna, Stephen, John, Lucille, Jack, Darcy, Roger, Karen, Soke, Evan, Sarah, Lindsay, and Art. May they have peace and healing. And to Janet at the time of her death, may we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together.
Please prepare for zazen.
The Sangha covenant.
We, in the Darshan Goji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others.
Please be seated facing the teachers for today's talk.
afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's lovely to see some new faces and old friends. Thank you all for being here. It's nice to have spring starting to come alive, isn't it? It's some beautiful days. So here we are. We're in Ango, right? So Ango is this approximately 3-month period of intensifying our practice. And our theme for this Ango is Bodhidharma. And Bodhidharma is the Indian prince that brought Zen from India into China, which then went to Korea, Vietnam, Japan, and then over here to us. So that's kind of the trajectory of it. And we are reading this particular book, Zen Teachings of Bodhidharma. So if you don't have your copy, it's going fast. Make sure you get one before it gets sold out. We're starting with the first sermon, the outline of practice. And what we're going to do is just kind of go through it line by line and see what's there for us. So it's really important to, when you hear Bodhidharma's words. So already, when Bodhidharma was talking, he was born 10 centuries after the Buddha, right? So that's already a long time. And in each generation, many, many, many practitioners have combed through the canon and articulated all of the concepts and had all the experiences, and especially in Zen, we say it's a mind-to-mind transmission. So this particular lineage has been going on since the time of the Buddha. This is to say that this field has been well furrowed and well cultivated. This is the result of a lot of people truly devoting their whole life to this practice, to this endeavor. And that spirit is still very much alive here in this temple. We have many people who are literally devoting their lives to this practice. And of course, all of us get huge benefit from that. So I hope we can all really appreciate the gift that we're being given. And we will begin. First sermon is called Outline of Practice. So all of us, when we first encounter Buddhism, universally the question is, well, how do I do it? what am I doing? What's the protocol here? And so even back in Bodhidharma's time, pretty much universal question, how do I do this, right? So first sermon, Bodhidharma says, okay, well, let me answer that question for you. So when you're done reading this sermon and hearing lectures on the sermon, you will all know exactly what to do. Right? And if you have any questions, we could just say, refer to Bodhidharma's sermon, first sermon, right? It's so interesting. For some reason, with Buddhist practice in particular, that we have to hear the same thing, like over and over and over again. It's just the darndest thing, right? I don't actually know why that is, but I do know that it is. And the other weird thing about that is when you're hearing it over and over again, it always feels fresh and new, like you've never heard it before. This is a great mystery of practice. So, here we go. Outline of practice. Many roads lead to the path. So in this case, Bodhidharma is talking about the path of the practice that he has brought to China. Ah, these roads, right? Each one of us is a road, right? So think about your life. You know, what kind of roads have you been, right? Has it been mostly the road off the beaten track? Has it been the road that tried to get on the super highway of like social convention? Has it been a very twisted and confusing road that keeps on switching back and forth and back and forth? Just really appreciate that whatever karmic unfolding road, Route 66 karma exit we've been on and off, right? That road has gotten us here, right? We're here. We got off the right exit, right? My strong encouragement is to totally investigate what this place is, right? Make sure that it makes sense to you, this stop that you got off, right? But as soon as you've gathered enough information, you will never have all of the information, but good enough that it makes good enough sense to you that you just stay. Just stay put in the hotel named Temple, right, for a while, right? And just live into it for a while and see what's here for you. So don't keep driving around, wandering around aimlessly, right? Take some time. Give yourself, dare I say, a rest stop, right? Let yourself settle in. Can you do that? Can you let yourself settle in? When's the last time you said, you know, I'm going to just settle in for a little while? I know not everything's going to be like to my liking, but I'm going to give this a good chance. You know, we're always moving around, like people move like all the time, right? Whole communities are being like just sort of ripped asunder because we're so mobile. We're all moving so fast. What would it be like to just settle down? And need I even say that there's like such a wild spiritual marketplace right now? I mean, everybody and their brother is a guru and a spiritual teacher around, right? I mean, you know, remember, one of the things you want to check about that is there a lineage there, right? Has the teacher been verified through the lineage of ancestors? Because just like I spoke of earlier, there's been a lot of really sincere and devoted whole lifetime work put into this project of awakening for millennia, right? So make sure that it's true, right? Make sure you got a good bloodline. You know, when I was working with the horses, that was like an infinite source of enjoyment, was like looking at the bloodline of all the horses. Anyway. Okay. Many roads lead to the path. All of your many roads have led here. And thank you for being here, right? You can actually thank each other. I mean, look around at all of the people that decided to get off at this exit. But basically, there's only two. Okay, so now this is interesting. He's making that shift from not just looking at your own karmic journey, but now, what are the two entrances into practice? into Buddhist practice now that you're here at Hotel, Motel, Temple. Okay. The two are reason and practice. Okay. And he's going to go into the first one first. Reason. This is not a fly-by-night kind of situation here. You don't just come on Sunday, clock your time on the cushion, hear a nice talk, have some nice food, connect with some nice people. Buddhism is a lot of work. I'm just going to say that right up front, right? A lot of work. It requires everything of us. It requires a lot of time from us. It requires a lot of study from us, literal like study. What are the principles of Buddhism? Now, the interesting thing about this is because you're at a Zen temple too. So you've got this weird conundrum going on, right? Because on the one hand, there's a total emphasis on study, and we have it coming and going. We've got establishing your Buddhist practice, we've got Lam Rim, we've got Shoken, we've got Jukai. Everything you do at the temple requires a lot of study, right? Then you get on the cushion, and it's like, forget about everything you ever learned. Just drop it, right? We actually have to do both, right? We have to be able to completely let go of all of those factors of mind that the Lankavatara Sutra has been talking about, and totally trust our intuition and our Buddha nature. We have to go from ordinary dualistic perception of this and that to non-dual perception, to extraordinary perception. So honestly, this is not an easy thing. You have to have a lot of maturity, spiritual maturity, to be able to do this work. So the reason side is basically the analytical meditation side. So you learn about the Four Noble Truths, you learn about relationship with the teacher, you learn about relationship with the Sangha, you learn what in the heck is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, right? There's so much to learn. You learn about how bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, gets developed. This is not obvious stuff. You actually have to, put it in your brain. And not only do you have to put it in your brain, you have to actually make it part of your life once you decide that it's worthy of being made part of your life. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes concentration. It takes discipline. It takes doing this thing and not that thing, right? You know, it's so interesting. When I began studying Buddhism in 1978, it wasn't quite this developed in America. And what happened was you would get beginning instruction, which was just count your breath. And then they would put you on a zafu and a zabuton and you'd face the wall, and they'd say, just do that. That's all you need to do. And if there's some chanting, just go along with it. And if there's some bowing, just bow. You'll be fine, right? So we've come a long way with that. And not a long way. We've actually circled back to appreciating what Bodhidharma actually brought to us back in the day. So we're more fulfilling out the lineage as we have inherited it. Now remember, when it first came to America, you had a lot of cultural and language barriers because it came from Japan. And not to mention we were at war with Japan in 1945 and before. So I remember actually Roshi's grandfather was very upset that he was studying a Japanese religion because he had fought in the South Pacific. So times change, right? Okay. To enter by reason means to realize the essence through instruction. So you're going to get a ton of instruction. Like you're already noticing that, right? Come in, you have to bow. When the bell rings, you do this. When it rings 3 times, you start those period of zazen, twice you end it, and then you stand up, and then you turn this way and not that way. Tons of instruction, right? And that's even before the academic instruction. Listen to what Bodhidharma said. Realize the essence through instruction. So realize the essence of full and complete Buddhahood through getting up at the sound of 2 bells, turning left and not right. What is that? How is that even possible to realize the essence through standing up and sitting down? Very interesting. And that's the other thing. This is so completely interesting. Your Zen practice, your Buddhist practice is never boring, right? Because you have turned on that spotlight so bright onto awareness, inner awareness, outer awareness. It's like, wow, what is going on here? What is going on? And that's just taking a breath, one breath. What is this? Who am I? This is a lifetime's work. And I promise you, it will always meet you with surprise, shall we say. Okay. Essence through instruction, and to believe that all living things share the same true nature. Okay. So, in the beginning, all living things share the same true nature. I don't really understand that. I'm not even sure I really believe that. Certainly not that person. That person is not like me, for sure. That creature is not like me, for sure. So in the beginning, you've just kind of got to take it on faith, right? Faith, curiosity, and investigation. You're willing to investigate this idea. is this actually true that all living beings, including my enemies, share the same nature as myself? This is a huge leap, actually, to even be willing to investigate that. Most people just want to keep it other. Lots of others. So, you start off with like, okay, I'll go there. Or some of us start off with, yes, I have known that my whole life. And finally, there's a path, there's a way for me to like have that perception and that realization grow in me, and it makes me so happy. Thank you. I've been looking all over the place for this. This is great. These are my people. What? You mean everybody's working on this? I'm not the crazy person over there? No, everybody's working on this. And then here we have the kicker. So, all living things share the same true nature, which isn't apparent because it is shrouded by sensation and delusion. So, yeah. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. And I'm here to tell you that I am human proof that after decades and decades of practice, those delusions, not as legion as they once were, I will give you that, right? They definitely pop up. I just had one this morning standing while we were chanting. I was like, oh, right. I'm functioning out of delusion here. I won't go into the details, but trust me, it was like, oh man, I was not as skillful as I could have been, right? Well, when you first start practicing, we're all wrapped up in the senses, right? We're getting so much information about our life: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, feeling, mind, consciousness, because that's how you get through the day, right? Well, all of that preoccupation with the senses is keeping us feeling very separate and very alone, and making it hard to feel like we're actually one Buddha nature, now showing up as me and you. Because we're so preoccupied with the processing of the senses. That's basically it. Our life is like, we're walking sensory processing centers. And sometimes we do a good enough job of processing, so we're basically like thinking in the same way that everybody else is more or less thinking. But sometimes we're processing and we're like way off the mark, right? And we know that. So when you're sitting zazen, what happens? You withdraw from the senses, right? And you follow the breath. You count the breath initially. Now you're in a different world. Now you're in a different relationship with what's going on. Because you're saying to the senses and the samsaric ego that organizes all of the things, I'm going to give you a little rest, and I'm going to have a different kind of experience of my life. This is very interesting. This will, again, never bore you, right? because you're going to be getting so much information and so much sense of, oh, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. This is different from what my senses are giving me and they have given me before. Oh, this is a different kind of perception. Huh. It can be a little scary sometimes, but it's very compelling. Very compelling. So we're withdrawing from the senses. And then we have our karmic mind stream, floop, 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 galloping through our zazen, right? Because it's just on autopilot, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And God knows what is in everybody's mind. Thank God we can't know the contents of each other's minds. Can you imagine? And here, just like we withdraw from the senses, right? We withdraw from the narrative. What do? See it, acknowledge it, let it go, let it be, right? Stay with the raw, naked experience of the breath. This is very interesting. Those who turn from delusion, right? And turn from delusion, how do I do that? That sounds so hard. It's not hard. See the narrative happening in your head, right? Blah, 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 blah. Acknowledge it, blah, 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 blah. And let it, actually sort of let it be, right? So open the hand of thought. So you're preferring the practice over the blah, 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 right? Those who do that turn away from delusion, back to reality. Oh my God, what is actually happening here? What is happening here? Who meditate on walls. There you go. So, these walls, my friends, are not just parts of buildings. They are also all the barriers that we think we have to put up in our mind. And perhaps even all the barriers that we've had to put up to make it through the day. But here, we investigate that barrier. Is that barrier real? How is that barrier? And Bodhidharma will go on to say that barrier, that wall, is empty, is not solid, is made up. How is that true? What does that actually feel like when you notice that that barrier is made up? This you will discover. This you will find in your practice. So, you meditate on walls, the absence of self and other. So the absence of a solid self. I am who I am, who I am, who I am. They are who they are, who they are. I will never change. They will never change. wrong. And Bodhidharma is going to go into a further explanation of how this is true. And the way that you know that it's wrong, right, is that you actually experience for yourself with awareness, that spotlight that has been put on your own mind stream, on your own heart, on your own direct experience. So you verify it in your own body. The emptiness of the wall, the emptiness of the barrier. This is very interesting. Nobody's going to do it for you, right? What is it? We can only do it alone, but how does it go? Oh! No, we can't do it alone. And no one could do it for you. Yay! We're done now?
Beings are
Thank you for coming to service today. That concludes the streaming.